Sad Dad Games podcast. You're listening to another episode of Eric's Indie Corner. Today we'll be having a lively debate about Hollow Knight Silksong. We'll be arguing our feelings about getting good versus accessibility, and everybody and their dogs doing double damage, and of course Hornet's very controversial downward dive. We are your hosts, Eric.
I'm Shan.
I'm Emerlie.
All right,
hey, I know that the listeners are wondering, at least the ones that are watching, they see what's going on here on my face, and I have to tell you that, it's because I just had a kid. And you're probably wondering, does the lawn match the face? And it does. I have not been able to keep up with my life hygiene and my house. It's all falling apart right now. I don't get sleep. I don't get anything done. It's all in shambles. But anyway, that's why I look disgusting. There's a reason I shave. It's because I look like this.
I think it's working.
Nobody deserves to look like this.
Pulling it off.
Yeah.
Pulling it off.
We used to, when we were all roommates in college, I guess not all of us, when Shan, Tucker, and I were roommates in college, we used to, sorry to exclude you there, Emily, and when we did this thing without Emerlie.
How dare you? I'm not even supposed to be in this podcast, but I stepped in for someone else.
Yeah, we love having you here. But we used to tell Shan that he had a Franco beard because it was like a mustache, a chin, and then like some little wispy hairs, like a James Franco beard.
Yeah.
But it's a lot fuller than it used to be. It's coming in.
Eric told me when I was 25 that it's okay. One day it'll just sort of connect like around here at your mustache and it'll eventually thicken up. And it looks exactly the same 10 years later. I guess I probably have like no testosterone. I like lactate and I have to take care of that every day. But on the other hand, my hair isn't falling out. I've got plenty of that. I have plenty of it up here.
Yeah, I'm starting to thin a little bit, so I'm just waiting for the day.
It's a trade-off.
I'm going to be bald one day. I'd rather have a beard than hair anyways. So,
all right,
I can lose every hair on the top of my head, and I won't care as long as I've still got a beard. I don't care about that. Yeah. All right. Well, today we are talking about Silksong. I feel like normally in indie episodes I give a little bit of an introduction about the type of game it is, but we all know what Silksong is. It's a 2D Metroidvania developed by Team Cherry. It just came out recently on September 4th, and so that's I feel like I don't need to give it too much of an introduction. So what we're going to be doing today is we're structuring things a little bit differently, since we all have lots of thoughts about Silksong, just us as the sad dads and also the internet in general. We thought it would be more fun to kind of have like a discussion and debate about Silksong, since normally I use this as a way to tell you about and recommend games. We already know about this game. Either you've heard about this game or you don't care. So we're not going to do that today. We're just going to have a debate about the different aspects that we like and don't like about the game.
What you can do, we're not going to have diegetic music here, but if you've seen How I Met Your Mother, think what's his face when he fights his brothers.
Marshall.
Marshall.
Climb murder train.
When the heavy metal is playing, it's gonna get very heated here because Eric and I almost lost our friendship last week over I had gotten no sleep from being up all night. I woke up 3 or 4 times from taking care of my new kid, and Eric just had triggered me about getting good. And
no,
it
hang
was,
on.
And I was
Shan was
what the hell is this?
Shan was expressing his frustrations, and I didn't once tell him that he needed to get good. I just didn't share his frustrations, and that bothered him. So I am not one of those
admit that the game was hard, and he's like, I don't understand. The game's easy. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I said I was expressing that a vertical pogo is definitively easier than a 45-degree pogo. And he's like, no, it's exactly the same difficulty. I was like, what the hell are we even talking about here? And we almost lost our friendship there within 60 seconds. 20 years of friendship almost down the drain.
Just gone down the drain because of Silksong. So it's gonna be a good one today.
I was perfectly okay. I was perfectly okay with Eric expressing that he was good at the 45-degree platforming, but I wanted him to admit that that vertical is easier.
You're not gonna like the conversation we have around this point later.
Oh, no.
You're gonna only get angrier.
Yeah, so please, listeners, put on the music because it's going to be like this a lot.
Yeah, and there will be some things. I feel like a lot of things we're going to agree on. Some things we will not. But let's get into it. So I've broken it down into a few categories. So first, I want to talk about just the crazy impact that Silksong had upon release. I did a little bit of research and I looked into a few little things, and I saw that there was like multiple indie games that had delayed their release. That were supposed to launch on the same day or near to the release date of Silksong. And then as soon as Silksong announced their release date, they were like, never mind, like not gonna. And like a couple of the developers specifically citing Silksong and saying like, we don't want to compete with them. Just straight up admitting like, I don't want to release next to them. Yeah.
Team Cherry put out a statement and said, get good.
Yeah, get good. Deal with it, scrubs. Yeah.
I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah. Also leading up to the release of Silksong, Hollow Knight had some of its highest concurrent player counts ever on Steam, like the week before Silksong came out. So the first Hollow Knight game, people were getting back on Steam to play the game to get ready for the release of Silksong. It had close to like about 70,000 players concurrently the week leading up, which is a very high number for an indie game and for a single player game. So pretty cool. And then also, this is something that we all experienced firsthand when the game released. You couldn't preload the game, you couldn't pre-order it, but it launched at 10 a.m. For me, and I guess 8 a.m. for you guys on launch day across all of its platforms. And for a brief amount of time, it crashed Nintendo, Xbox, and Steam digital storefronts. They all crashed because everyone in the world was like, I have to buy the game right now. And so I mean, I don't know how long did it take you guys. It took me about 30 minutes on the Nintendo eShop for it to finally load and for me to be able to download it. How long did it take you guys?
Yeah, I would say about 30 minutes, and it was just constantly going into the eShop. And then as soon as I got in there, it would kick me out, and it kept like coming up with different messages saying, I can't remember exactly, but basically telling me that I was kicked out. And then it would go back to the home screen, and then I jump back in, back out, back in, back out. And then at some point I was able to get to the checkout page, like, hey, I want to purchase this. And that kicked me out multiple times. So I kept getting closer and closer. It's much like when you're fighting the bosses, you just got to keep running back and and you keep getting further and further. Yeah, you keep getting closer and closer to finishing, and then you get so frustrated because you got kicked back out again and you got to run back. But yeah,
eShop run back. Yeah.
But eventually I was able to download it, and I had an Ethernet cord, got it downloaded immediately, and just, very excited.
Well, I was passed out on a hospital bed from having been up the night before having my new daughter. And so by the time I had cogitated the next morning, I was just
cogitated
able to buy
as Shan for woke up. Yeah.
Right. But I don't want to say that I am woke. Right.
In case someone missed it, Shan just had a baby, which he has now mentioned, I think, 3 times.
Well, it's a big part of this because we just had a short, 11 seconds long, that garnished 13,000 views and gave us like 23 hours of view time. That's insane for 11 seconds.
That is insane. I didn't realize it was that many.
It's one of our most
for our channel.
Viewed, yeah, it is. Like, as far as like videos total hours, it has like the 3rd or 4th most total hours.
Are you serious?
Which is insane because most of our other videos are like 2 hours long.
That's awesome. I'm glad that took off.
And it was like me just acting. Like, obviously it was choreographed, but whatever.
Yeah.
Still funny. Yeah.
Still funny.
I used my daughter as a prop.
Well, obviously.
Only hours into her life.
Yeah. If you can't use your children to, personally promote your own ventures, then what even are they here for? Like,
I think those influencer laws, like for, the child influencer laws, I don't think that applies in Utah. So you're safe. You're good. Exploit your child and not give them anything.
By the way, I had a really funny, stupid, weird thought today. You know how like, your a female's eggs are in their ovaries from the moment that they are a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the moment.
Where are you
that they're a
going with
baby.
this, Shan?
Well, it was funny because like Heather was gone this morning for like 3 hours, or maybe 2 hours, and then she came back. She's like, "That's the longest I was away from the baby ever since she was born." And then I had this thought. I was like, "That was the longest she's been away from you since you were a baby. At least half of her genetically."
All right. I mean, yeah.
Except, and then I thought about it. Well, she was an IVF baby, so I guess there was also the 3.5 years that she was sitting cryogenically in a tube.
It's okay. She didn't remember. She was sleeping. Yeah.
Anyway, so other than like the 3.5 years and then the 2 hours just then, like she's never been separated from my wife. It got weird. I don't know why I had those thoughts back to back.
Because you're sleep deprived, that's why.
Yeah, we're going to change the
brain...
name of this episode to Shan's Musings, and we're just going to let him talk about his thought process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if people have been listening to more than one of these our videos, they know that I have these eclectic thoughts, and this is just how an ADHD riddled brain thinks, right? It just jumps around like this.
How
like
often can one of us? How often can one of us just completely derail whatever episode we're talking about? That's like the bread and butter of our podcast.
That's right. I think that's why the listeners are actually here.
No one cares about what we have to say about video games. They just want to listen to Shan say big words and us get on tangents. Yeah.
Eric, you ignorant slut. People are here for Silksong. Please get us back on rails.
All right, I'll get us back on track. I'm sorry. So the first talking point, I'd say argument that we're gonna pick sides and talk about is accessibility versus difficulty, or accessibility versus getting good, spelled with a G-U-D. So thoughts on this, you guys? Accessibility versus difficulty. I know Shan has lots of thoughts.
Yeah, I want to put out a disclaimer here that this is a pet peeve of mine. I want to put out a disclaimer that you are not entitled to what a developer or a studio creates. I know this. So whatever their vision is, whatever their end product is, that's it. Like you can wish they had done things differently. And it's fine to like put out those thoughts. But like ultimately, if they don't want to put out a different difficulty, if they want to tell their story a certain way, that is their right. And it is not your property. It is their property. It is their intellectual property. They own it. And this goes for like Naughty Dog doing The Last of Us Part 2 and everything. Like they're not going to go out and change their story because that's what you want. They own it. Okay. That being said, I still hate that there's not an easy difficulty. If I had it my way, I wish there were, because I don't have the luxury of sinking 50 to 80 hours on this game when I wish I could put in like 15 hours on this game so that I can consume more stories, because I would prefer to consume more stories with my short amount of time when I have family and a job and a half, because I have this as a hobby and I want to consume more because I love that. That's one of my arguments.
Yeah, I would say I think that this bullet point isn't going to be too much of an argument. I think that we're pretty much in agreement, specifically in relation to Silksong. I have been mostly really enjoying the base difficulty level. There have been a few hurdles that have been a little frustrating. I'm currently at a point in the game where I'm ready to just pull my hair out. But for like 90% of the time, I've really been enjoying the difficulty. I think that I've been having a good time with the bosses. And that's just a personal experience for me personally. But I do always like when video games include accessibility options, particularly for difficulty, for all the reasons that Shan said. If this is not your first Eric's Indie Corner, you'll know that every time there's accessibility options like that let you adjust your difficulty, specifically when there are like sliders that let you adjust things granularly. I love that. I think that's a good thing, because while Silksong is just about the right difficulty for me, maybe a little bit too steep sometimes, but I enjoy that level. It's not going to be that way for everybody. For Shan, he's got less time. He doesn't want to spend as much time. That's a super valid reason to want to lower the difficulty a little bit. Or for people who, might not be able to meet them at that same level of difficulty. What if they really want to experience this game, but they just can't? And so I think accessibility options are good. I would love if there were more, but for me personally, Silksong I've been having a really good time with the difficulty level.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people online complaining that it's way harder than Hollow Knight. I think it's the same.
I'd agree with that.
Difficulty. I don't think it's that much harder. Besides the pogo issue, which we'll talk about, but I don't feel like it's that much harder.
Erratic in difficulty. Like it's not consistent.
And maybe it's because, I've clocked over 100 hours into Hollow Knight, so and when I first started playing Hollow Knight is when I first started getting back into video games. So it was very, very difficult, but I've put in so many hours that going into this one, maybe it just feels the same. But I don't think it's that much different. But I think I told you guys, I think I probably spent the first 50 hours of the game not even realizing that pogoing was a thing in Hollow Knight. I just never considered to even try it. And so, I spent a good majority not even having that as an option that I realized. So that makes a difference here. But I did you guys see that Team Cherry already put out a patch that lowered the difficulty of some of the bosses?
Yeah. I did see that. Yeah,
and that's crazy. I don't think they should have done that.
I mean, whatever. I don't really know. I haven't noticed a huge tick one way or the other, but I also haven't played through it all the way yet. Full disclosure, I'm not finished with the game. None of us are finished with the game yet. Mm-hmm. So these are our thoughts on the first, I'm probably about 15-ish hours in. But I would say that I do think that this game is at least a notch up from Hollow Knight. I played Hollow Knight all the way through right before starting this game, like the week and a half leading up to it. And so I think that there is a little bit of a difficulty curve in general. Like I think it's in general a harder game, but I think that the internet is blowing it out of proportion, saying that it's so much harder. It's the hardest game ever, which I think it's comparable to Hollow Knight, maybe just a tick more difficult, but that's kind of what I wanted from it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I actually I had gotten 6 to 8 hours in. I was actually doing really well. I hadn't hit any roadblocks yet. I was doing a lot better than I had done on Hollow Knight originally because I had learned a lot from that original experience, how to read patterns and stuff like that. I just could tell from playing the game that I was going to hit a wall at some point, or at least I could tell that I was going to be gated by some bosses and I was not going to be able to maybe finish as much content as I hoped to finish because I'm something of a completionist in my archetype. And that worried me that I would have a sunk cost in how much time I invested in this game and not be able to finish. So I immediately stopped and I rebought the game on Steam because I had it on Switch. And is the first time I had gotten mods because I'm new to Steam and PC gaming. I dumped a bunch of mods on it and I found my own easy difficulty. And I am having the time of my life. This is now a perfect game to me. So you guys are going to hate this if this is something that's important to you, gatekeeping games with difficulty. If you're that type of person, you're going to hate me for this, right?
Yeah, real quick, let's not jump on Shan for enjoying the game how he wants to enjoy it. I like it as a difficult experience. Shan likes it the way, and nothing wrong with that. We love
thumbs
games.
Down if that's important to you.
Yeah. Let Shan love the game how he wants to.
So double damage. I took off all the I can do double damage. I took off all the 2 hits to me. I gave myself double soul so that I can heal faster, and I gave myself a shit ton more rosary so I don't have to go farming for it. It didn't take that much. It's not like they had to go out and balance a whole bunch of bosses after changing things. They just had to change a couple variables on Hornet herself, and suddenly I still have to learn all of the boss's battles. They still go on for like a minute or two, and I still think it's fantastic. So the gameplay loop itself is perfect. It's just the scale of the variables, and that itself doesn't ruin the game design. It's just the scale of it, the variables themselves.
Yeah, I think that leads into the next bullet point that I had when I talked about was the double damage hits. So this is one that we can take sides on this argument. I don't know if this will be an argument. I think we might all agree on this one, but the double damage hits are they're tough for me because I feel like sometimes they can do well to serve difficulty. I feel like Hollow Knight, the first Hollow Knight game, used double damage pretty well. You know, it was pretty sparse, and so when it happened, it was like, ooh, big challenge. But it's like
that crystal
everything.
Guardian. That little
like the big things. But it's like friggin' everything in this game. Every boss almost does 2 damage with its hits, and it's just
from the beginning of the game.
I'm done with that. Like I am not a fan of that. I think this is my only like real critique of the game. The only thing that has really actually really bothers me about it is I don't like the double damage hits. I think it's too much. There's too much of it.
Just give you 3 slots to heal then. Like I understand there's something to like then you only like your healing heals you 3 slots, and so technically that you get like 1 extra healing because of that odd amount of healing slots. But like if you're gonna do it 2 for everything, then you might as well just like reduce everything by half and make everything 1 again, right? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things deal double damage, and it makes boss encounters really hard for me because I don't have time to like catch my breath at all because I get hit once and then I get hit again and then I'm done. Like, yeah, so. I don't know, Emerlie, do you have thoughts on that one?
I don't mind the double damage, but how often you're getting the double damage is problematic here. I think that especially early on, they should have had less bosses that deal double damage and just kind of ease you into that as you get more health. I do greatly appreciate that you can heal yourself in the air. And I often, I feel like when you were playing Hollow Knight, when you were playing Hollow Knight, like that character, exactly, you don't have to hold it, and it goes so much quicker. Because I always struggled with healing in the other game, where I would heal and I would get hit, and I'm always trying to find like a very quick opening where I can sit there and hunker down and heal my character. Whereas here, I'm jumping in the air, and just quickly healing, and then I'm getting right back to it. So I feel like I'm getting hit a lot less while healing, so I appreciate that. But yeah, having a balance between the two, they didn't have to go as extreme, and it would have been perfect.
Yeah, I think to your point, Hornet is a lot more acrobatic than the Knight is, and so I feel like a lot of the bosses lean into that. Yeah, she feels great to control. It feels really like a lot of the battles are fast paced because you're they're more mobile enemies. You're a more mobile character, and being able to heal in the air. That was like I didn't figure that out until like 5 hours into the game because I was just so used to Hollow Knight. And then I like accidentally hit the A button while I was in the air. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's healing in the air. Like it's amazing. And so just opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me with like boss battles and stuff, because it also freezes you in the air. So it's a good way to like, if you're falling and you're about to get hit, you can push that and it'll stop your descent, and you can like use that as a way to dodge even. So
yeah. I don't love how many enemies do double damage. But I think it's so much more offensive that terrain does double damage at all.
Yeah, screw those rocks that fall on you.
Because how fantastic is it that you can just hold the R button and run? But because of that, you're not thinking about the terrain. You just want to go. And then it's like, nope, here's lava. You're dead. Like, that's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like the falling rocks and there's lava, and it's just like, like I said, I don't mind the damage. I don't mind having to learn the layout of a place. Like you're running and you jump through because you know the layout and you've been backtracking a lot, and you like, I kind of like that because it makes you feel like you're learning the map. But like taking one small misstep or like hitting an enemy and then falling backwards into lava, and it's like, well, there's 3 hearts. Like, that's too much punishment for making one misstep. And so the double damage, not a fan. I like that it's there, but it's used way too frequently for my taste.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of rosary in this game.
So,
I think it's happened like 4 or 5 times now. I'm infuriated.
Well, and rosary is hard to come by.
Yeah.
Jinx.
And everything.
No,
as far as like giving myself an easy mode, I thought everything made it was a perfect way to scale difficulty, but giving myself 3,000 rosary, that was just me being a little shit. Like, I just didn't want
being lazy. Yeah.
That was just laziness. I just didn't want to look for rosary.
He was on the mod screen and he was like, well, I'm here. Don't mind if I do. Yeah.
Like, basically all of it redounds to, like, I didn't want the mechanics that wasted my time. And rosary was going to waste my time. And so, like, the game that originally took me 8 hours, I was able to replay in an hour and a half, and I had the time of my life.
Just breezing through Silksong. Wouldn't that be nice?
I am stuck on those GD bird bugs. Segue into more other things.
Bitch birds.
The bitch birds, they are so obnoxious.
But they've got such a taunt to their stance.
Yeah, well, and how they, like, the ones that fly, the one that gets me is it's like, well, because you're used to, like, bugs that hover really consistently, and then these things, they're like bird, and they flap, and so it's just like, there's this little bit of bounce to their movement that makes it like, it's hard to get under them and slash upwards. It just like, it just makes,
either you jump too high that you hit them,
like,
or you jump and you slash and you can't catch them. And so it's like, the timing of and trying to get your jump just right so that you can hit them without hurting yourself. And then there's like multiple coming at you at the same time. I've spent a couple hours on that one already, and I've had to set it down multiple times, and I haven't picked it up in a couple days, and I'm so frustrated. I hate the birds, but I don't want to lose my rosary. Otherwise, I would come back to this area with more upgrades. But I'm like, I had so much rosary, and it's like stuck in this, like, once you get in there, you can't leave.
You got to go back and get it.
Yeah, so I'm stuck until I get good.
You know,
one enemy later on comes to mind that you're going to hate because I hate them, and they're...
It was actually like an hour after that section that I stopped and I bought the game again on Steam. So I actually did... Like, I thought I was going to stop at that point because I hated the bird so much, and I actually beat it. And I was proud of myself. But I was about to put the game down because I hated those bitch birds so much.
So much.
They have a really weird movement and attack pattern that makes them difficult to track, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, the balloons that you platform on, that almost made me want to give up, too, because the 45-degree platform.
Perfect segue, Shan. So this is the part that almost ruined Shan and I's friendship, and he's gonna not like what I have to say. So
Shan's gonna rage
we're gonna talk about the more difficult platforming, specifically the diagonal downward. So normally in Hollow Knight, in the first Hollow Knight game, you do a downward slash, and he just slashes straight downwards, kind of like you'd expect. And in Silksong, you do a downward attack, and Hornet dives at kind of a diagonal, like a 45-degree angle, and you can hit enemies and bounce off of them that way. And so Shan was not having a good time with this mechanic and did not much care for it, and I have not had that much trouble even still with this mechanic. I like the diagonal down, like even more so than to not have trouble with it. I like it. I think it's good. I like that it's there. So much so that later in the game you can get crests that let you like change your moveset so that you can just do a normal downward slash. And I chose to not. I used it for a little bit and I was like, I don't like this. I like the diagonal downward dash. It's my favorite moveset for Hornet.
Please tell me, Eric, are you also into BDSM?
No, I feel like it suits her acrobatic moveset. Yeah.
Please tell me which hole you like it in.
You like the punishment, the self-flagellation.
And that's the thing is it clicked more for me with Hornet's moveset, as it didn't feel like punishment. I feel like that diagonal downward dash makes more sense for me with her like more acrobatic moveset. That when I switched to the other one, I found myself having more difficulty hitting enemies and stuff because I had gotten so accustomed to the diagonal downward like this. So I like it. I like it better.
Look, and I want to, like, I am perfectly okay with you being good at it. But there is more variability in 45 degrees, because if there is variability in how long you press to jump, then 45 degrees from whatever height you jump from is going to determine how far out you land. So that is variability. Whereas when you vertically jump, you will 100% of the time land exactly where you started from. That makes vertical easier than 45 degrees, period. So you can be good at 45 degrees, and it sounds like you're amazing at it. You're the shit. But I'm just saying,
I'm the best.
Vertical is easier objectively, and I just don't understand why that's hard to acknowledge.
Because I have not, for me, I haven't had any issues with the platforming, really. I mean, it's difficult. There have been times where the platforming is difficult because it's a difficult game, but I have not personally found it to be any more difficult than the platforming in Hollow Knight.
I would say I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't absolutely hate it, and I definitely
don't hate it.
Love it.
I actually think it's clever to change up the platforming dynamic in an interesting way. I think that's like all platforming games need to find a clever way to change platforming. I just wanted to acknowledge it was harder. And I think it would have been nice if like the hitbox was bigger so that it wasn't as annoying, because I don't want to lose my rosary every effing time.
I'll give you that. It would be nice to have a bigger hitbox so that it's a little easier to hit those targets when you're diving diagonal. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm asking for.
One of the things I don't like about it is when you're trying to use it is sometimes my character will turn and go the wrong direction. Do you guys have that issue? It's like you're going down, and it's like... I'm not going
to answer because you'll just get mad at me. No, I haven't had an issue.
No, when I like...
Eric has never had a problem in his life.
I'm the best at everything.
Sometimes I hit the controller joystick downwards, like sometimes I'll accidentally lean in one direction just ever so slightly, and so I'll actually do it in the wrong direction. It's not often, but it's often enough where I'm like, this is so frustrating. But I do appreciate how sometimes when something is flying underneath you or running past, you can jump up, hit them, and then hit them again as they're still kind of going in that direction. So I like when I can get several bounces off the character. That is very satisfying.
Yeah. So much harder to do that with a 45 degrees.
It is a lot harder to like multiple pogo off, because in Hollow Knight you could kind of bounce on top of enemies, like, and hit the same enemy multiple times. And this game seems more both with like enemy, like the number of enemies that you face and this diagonal downward thing is to encourage you to not bounce on the same enemy multiple times. That if you're dealing with multiple enemies at once, like to bounce off of multiple enemies, or to bounce off of one, get your footing, and then bounce off of them again. So it seems like it's a deliberate design choice to kind of force you to think more acrobatically in your combat, which I like. I've been enjoying that.
It's almost like the variability in platforming makes it harder to consistently do what you want to do. But maybe that's just me.
It's just you.
That being said, about a couple more hours into the game after our acrimonious fight, one that were we in a marriage, we would have gotten divorced over for sure.
Shan and I got friend divorced for like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were separated, right? Like it was Ross and Rachel. Like we were
on a break.
We were we were on break. That's what it was. Anyway, I did come to find out that if like you could almost think of the 45 degrees as a vertical pogo if you waited until the very last microsecond to do the platforming, like when you're bouncing off of like the bouncy objects, like you just wait until you're like at the object to hit it. Instead of trying to aim and go at the object, you wait until you're at the object to hit it. That changed a whole lot of platforming for me.
Well, it's almost like, just getting used to it helped you to figure out.
No,
the
it's
right
still
way to
hard. It's still hard.
Right. Well, yeah. So differing opinions on that one. I really like it. I think it's good stuff. All right. So the last main bullet point that we have, I think that there might be some level of disagreement on this one as well, is how do you guys feel about runbacks? A runback, for those of you who don't know, it's that there's like a specific save point, and then when you die at a certain place, you have to run back to that place to try the thing that you tried again. Typically for bosses, because that's where you're going to die the most, is you'll fight a boss, die, go back to the save area, and then have to run back through a little bit of the level or a little bit of the map to get back to the boss. Thoughts on runbacks? How do you guys feel about runbacks? Specifically in Silksong. Yeah.
It's not that bad in this game because Hollow Knight, the benches were too far apart, and that was one of like the highest complaints by people playing it. And this one, they're so much closer, so I'm way less frustrated. So I don't mind it.
So in Hollow Knight, there was a couple that really annoyed me. The one that most came to mind, you were like in a little like greenhouse type thing. What's that enemy? And you're like, it's like a short ceiling, and I don't remember.
Oh, the Trader Lord. It's like a mantis. Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
The one you fight with
jumping through
cloth.
spikes. I remember that one being really annoying because I always ended up there with like low health. And
yeah, because there's spikes and hazards, and no, that was
exactly.
same. Yeah,
that was always really annoying to me. Whereas this one, like when you end up at a boss, you can get your full silk from like hitting your hornet weave thing, and so that's
like
really nice.
the rosaries and stuff that you've left behind, right?
Exactly. You can immediately heal as soon as you get back to a boss. You don't have silk left, but you can do that if you got damaged. So you can start with a full bill of health. That's fantastic. I still hate wasting my time if I died. I hate the idea of like it takes one or so, I don't know how long some of the worst runbacks are. I know Hollow Knight had a couple bad ones, but like say it takes 1 minute.
Dark
for every
Souls has some
runback.
nasty ones. Yeah.
1 or 2 minutes, right? So then you get back to a boss, you get 30 seconds in, great, 2 more minutes. Then you get 35 seconds in, great, 2 minutes. Then you get 40 seconds in, great, 2 minutes. Then you get 40, like learning like one more pattern or how to get better at like getting 5 more seconds in and then having to tack on that 2 minutes every single time. I wanted to chuck the game out of a window. I was so pissed off every single time. And like knowing that this game was going to do it to me again, I hadn't yet encountered it, but I was dreading it. That being said, another mod that I got on Steam, it allowed you to spawn in the exact location on the map that you died. And I thought, maybe this won't matter with all my other mods. But then I died at the Mothwing. What's that thing called? They just nerfed it.
I don't know. What is the boss like?
I don't know. He's like a flying bug underground.
Oh, the like slams his face into the wall?
Yeah.
Screw that guy. I still haven't beat him. That's my least favorite boss so far. He's so hard.
There's not even a run back on that guy.
He's an optional boss. I mean, there's like a small run back on that one, but
okay,
friggin' screw that guy. I've gone back to him like 3 or 4 times and be like, maybe now, and screw that guy. Ooh, he makes me mad.
3 or 4 times is not that bad.
Well, no,
yeah,
I mean, I've done dozens of run backs, but then I'll get mad and I'll go play a different part of the game. And then I'll come back and I'll try to do it again for like another 10 or 12 tries. And then I'll get mad and and I've done that whole loop like 3 or 4 times with like the savage beast fly or whatever. Screw that guy. I hate that guy.
Yeah. They nerfed him a little.
But thank you.
So haven't gotten there
so
yet.
people on Reddit, people on Reddit are taking their dicks out and giving themselves a circle jerk right now if they beat him before it was nerfed. So good for them.
Good for them. Screw those guys.
Right? But anyway, so I died at him a couple times, even with my awesome easy nerfs, my mods. And it was the first time I had died with those mods, and I spawned in the exact same location that I had died. And like I had experienced a euphoria that I imagine like drug addict's experience, right? Like I've never had a drug in my life. I imagine this is what crack cocaine feels like. It was, and
Shan
I realized
never did a drug. Yeah,
never done drug. I imagine that's what it feels like. I had realized like the weight of the dread of Hollow Knight, having played it a couple times, and Silksong up until this moment. The elation I had felt of just like coming right back to where I was and being able to take 2 seconds to get back to that GD boss and get right back into it. That is the best feeling in the world. Like my time wasn't wasted.
See, and I actually am. I'm going to argue the counterpoint to Runbacks.
Yeah, of course you are.
No, well, because let me explain why. It's not just because I like it.
And when I end this stream, our friendship's over.
Yeah, I've got a couple good reasons. With one exception. So a couple good reasons why in Silksong in particular, I find the Runbacks fine. For a couple reasons, I like that
he gets off.
I love them. They're my favorite thing in the world. I do like how they make the world feel dangerous and large, and they make
stakes.
I like the stakes. Yeah, they make when you're fighting a boss and you're down to one thing, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to run back if I die right now, and it heightens the tension, and it creates like an extra level of like, ooh, I got to do this, and I enjoy that feeling. I also like, particularly with like the beast fly, I like, or a boss that I'm dying over and over and over and over again. I like the runbacks if they're not too complicated. The one back to the beast fly is super easy. You can sprint the whole way, and just like there's like one enemy that you have to jump over. And I like that moment because it's like a minute where I can just go like and calm myself down again before I have to go face a really difficult boss. So I think sometimes it can kind of give you a minute to collect yourself and be like, okay, all right, like I can do it. And so there's that. The flip side of that, though, is at the point of the game that I'm at now is I've encountered a run back that is very difficult, and I've died like a couple of times on the run back to the boss because there's a lot of enemies and a lot of environmental hazards, and I hate that crap. That's super frustrating.
So
there needs to be a bench way closer to that boss.
That can kill you. You don't like a run back that can kill you.
No. I mean,
I think that's fair.
I think, yeah. I mean, sort of. It needs a balance. Like I don't mind a run back that has some obstacles, but it's hard when it's like when the run back is almost as hard as the boss, because then it's like it's a double gauntlet. You have to do this and then you have to do that, and so I don't get that relaxing moment of like before I go fight the boss again. It's like two bosses that are different right in a row, and that's super frustrating for me. So I'm of two minds. And Silksong, I've been liking them pretty much the whole time except for this one I'm on right now because it's so hard. It makes me mad. I'm at a very raging spot in the game right now, and I won't say anything because I think I'm a little farther ahead than you guys are, and I don't want to spoil stuff, but ooh man.
See, this is the fascinating dichotomy of Hollow Knight and Silksong, is that it makes people passionate. Like, how can people hate and love a game this much? I have never been so infuriated. I've never loved a game so much, right? Like, so many feelings, just a complete spectrum.
I told you it's like Frank Reynolds. It's Frank Reynolds in It's Always Sunny in the episode Charlie McDennis. He loves playing the game, but the whole time he's like, I hate this game. I hate this game. You want to rage quit, but you just you're still going. Yeah. It's addicting. Yeah.
So to just clarify, even after all of the complaints and stuff that we've made, all the little nitpicking that we've done, Hollow Knight is one of my very favorite games of all time. I haven't finished Silksong yet, but so far for me, it's living up to the hype, and I'm having a wonderful time, and I just almost like I'm really, really loving it so far.
Yeah, it might be the best indie game ever made. I haven't really thought that statement through, so I can't be completely definitive about it. And I haven't completed a whole lot of indie games. I really liked Animal well, but Hollow Knight's probably better than that. Anyway, I'd have to think that statement through.
Yeah, I've had like a pretty consistent clip of like moments that have made me audibly gasp, either by like something really cool happening or something happening that caught me completely by surprise, or like, you know, there's a slight, like, it feels like Silksong is just on a larger scale than Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is probably, it's hard to judge which one I like better because I haven't finished Silksong and recency bias and all that, but I think that Silksong is grander in scale, and it does some things bigger than Hollow Knight, and it can do some things that Hollow Knight didn't do. But Hollow Knight I like better probably on the whole. Well, once I finish Silksong, I'll be able to make a definitive thing. But I like that it did exactly what I wanted to do. It took the template that Hollow Knight set forth, which is a game that I absolutely love, and it expanded it. It made it bigger, and it changed things up just enough so that it felt familiar, but it also felt new and exciting. And so it's almost the perfect sequel for me. I'm just having a great time with it.
Yeah. Maybe this isn't the space for it because we're probably going to have a lot of passionate people in here. I do think Expedition 33 is still Game of the Year, definitively.
I'd probably agree. I think that is one that, like, I think that's when we talked about this before. I think Silksong will get nominated, but I'd be pretty surprised if Expedition 33 doesn't win Game of the Year. I think that, you know, that's resonated with enough people and is just a good game. It's not a good game. It's a fantastic game that it just, like, it seems like the obvious choice for that.
Well, and like Silksong to me is just as, it's like Death Stranding 2, where it's like, it did several things that were transformative to the original, but it's still building on just enough of the foundation of the original that it itself wasn't so surprising as a whole, whereas like everything Expedition 33 did was surprising. The whole package blew my mind.
Yeah. And I will say that, like, I think that Expedition 33 deserves to win Game of the Year. But Silksong is more my cup of tea. If I was doing like Eric's Games of the Year, Silksong would probably win. Yeah. So, but they're both amazing games. So they're just amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And this is gonna, this is coming out of nowhere, but I prepared something and I don't want it to go to waste. So I'm gonna show a little infographic here that, like, I think that, like, a lot of people, these gamers that get really passionate about Silksong, we're kind of talking past each other when we get when the get good crowds start rising up and beating people down on Reddit. I think I think you're talking to the wrong people, and that Hollow Knight and Silksong appeal to three different archetypes of gamers. And so I just wanted to, this is how I've classified what Silksong and Hollow Knight are. So Quantic Foundry is a group that has established that there are 6 core archetypes that are broken down into 2 archetypes each, so 12 total. And so there's action, social, mastery, achievement, immersion, and creativity. And of those 6, I thought, well, Hollow Knight and Silksong kind of appeals to 3. We have challenge and mastery, completion and achievement, and story and immersion, because this game obviously appeals to challenge and mastery. There's a whole lot of depth.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Right?
Specifically with the really excellent diving, diagonal downward dive. It's just good stuff.
This is obviously appealing to Eric's itch to be able to get good and get good hard. Whereas story immersion, this is appealing to Emerlie, who just wants to get steeped in the lore. Obviously, I'm sure this Eric has part of this, but Emerlie just watches hours and hours and hours of footage of people just absolutely going hard on whatever these bugs are saying, to be able to tie it all together. And there's a whole community of people online just confabulating things that maybe wasn't even said, and creating mythologies, giving life that Team Cherry probably hasn't even thought of.
Yeah, I became very obsessed with the lore. I have the book, the Wanderer's Journal book that I've poured over.
Yes.
I have the map of from Hollow Knight as a printout. I have watched just about every YouTube video out there, and some multiple times on repeat because I'm like, I just don't know if I still get it. Like every time I listen to it, I hear more things, and it's just kind of become like background noise for me. So you're right, I do love the lore. Go on.
Yeah, right. And then there's completion achievement. So these are the people that are going to want to get, what are those things called in Hollow Knight? The, like all of the badges. They're not badges. They're
Charms.
Oh, in
Charms.
Silksong, in Hollow Knight they're badges, and in this one they're tools and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
like Hollow Knight and probably Silksong, it straight up gives you a percentage that you can complete after you finish the game. You can unlock that percentage. And people get an itch to get that 100%. Or if you get the DLC, what is it, 113 or something?
I think for
It's
Hollow Knight it's
112.
100 and
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
Emerlie is a
trying to.
completionist.
No, I've never been a completionist on any game. This is the
Okay,
first
well,
time where I'm
this
like, I
one's
need
unlocked it for you.
112. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has.
But it's hard because you have to get the challenge mastery to be able to get there, right?
I think I got like 110 or 111 and something like that in Hollow Knight, and then it's like, now do the Pantheon of the Gods, and I was like, no thanks, I'm good.
Okay, so Eric has the completionist inside of him too. Eric, how much did the story immersion narrative appeal to you?
For
Did
Hollow
you
Knight,
even like get into that, or
oh, I mean,
did you kind of
hugely.
set it aside?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I love the lore of Hollow Knight. I think with my initial playthrough, I wasn't like actively searching out story explanations externally from the game. I was just kind of like letting the game happen to me because I just wanted to experience it that way. But after I finished the game, it had just like worked its way into my brain to be like, I don't know that I really understood everything that was going on. And so I did
Yeah.
kind of probably not to the same degree as Emerlie, but
So it came to
I
you
watched
later.
a lot of videos and I read some stuff. And so because I wanted to understand the world better, because it's a fascinating world.
Okay. So originally, Eric was like probably challenge mastery completion achievement, and the story came later. But like ultimately, you're kind of pushing yourself towards.
I'm
the
right
middle, which
smack
is kind
dab in the middle of there, I'd think. Yeah.
Yeah,
This game
which
is
is what's
made
making-
directly for me. Yeah.
which is what's making this your quintessential perfect indie game that's putting at the top of your list at this point.
Yeah.
And Emerlie is down here in the story immersion completionist. You're
Yeah.
probably not. You're probably. I don't know if you're in it for the challenge. It's probably frustrating to you, but you want to enjoy the other stuff, so you're forced to go through the gauntlet.
Yep, you're right.
And so
you nailed it.
And so when people say to you, get good, you think, go to hell. I'm in it for something else.
Get to hell.
And I am about in it for the narrative story and a little bit in it for the completion, but I'm annoyed that the challenge is so hard that I have to leave about a third of it on the floor by the end because I can't complete the challenge because I'm not in it for that. And that's frustrating to me. I want to be able to complete it, but I can't.
Well, and it's funny because it's different for different games. Like I've played challenging games before where I like hit a wall and I'm like, I'm not having a good time, and I take that difficulty slider and I just put it all the way down because I'm not in it for that game. For like the Hollow Knight series, I do really enjoy the challenge, and so I like to experience that part as well. But for other games, it's like sometimes it's just completion. I just want to beat a game. And it's like, because I'm having fun playing the game, but it's like, I don't care about the story. I don't care about the challenge. I just want to I just want to work through this game and experience it because I'm having a fun time. So it can be different things for different games.
Yeah. I am very much a story person, basically on like most of my games. That's why I started the Sad Dad Games podcast, because I'm all about narrative. And so I'm about consuming as many narrative games as possible. And so when a game comes out, like, if it starts wasting my time, I'll take that slider down and I'll just chug through it.
Yeah.
So
All right.
anyway, that's Eric, is there anything else we need to say about this game?
No, I think we had a good lively debate about the things that we like, things that we don't like. And just, I really enjoyed talking about this game. It's probably my game of the year so far. Just not enough nice things to say about Silksong. I love it. Go play it.
All right.
All right. So you can find Silksong on everything. You can find it on Switch, Switch 2, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Windows, and macOS, and it's only $19.99, which is absolutely bonkers. That was another thing that the internet freaked out about when they announced the price. I think it's the only time in the history of the world where people were like, "Can I pay more for a game?"
Yeah, so
Are
many
you sure
people were
$20
like,
is
I'm
enough?
gonna pay twice.
I
Well,
paid
Shan
twice.
did. Yeah, Shan paid twice. So
Yeah.
as soon as they have physical versions and merch of Silksong, I'm going to buy that because $20 is not enough. I want to give more money to these people for creating something amazing that I love. So
Yeah, but guess what? I'm trying to make this into a business, so I'm going to deduct it on my taxes. Please don't audit me, IRS. But guess what? They don't have as many people as they used to have, so maybe it'll be hard.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be all right. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, wherever else you find podcasts. And we've really enjoyed talking with you today. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleepity doof, bleepity bloopity blow.